This is a Cincy fan talking with LP. You can catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. You say it like it sounds, just leave off the G. If you have ideas for the show, you can reach me at Cincy_fan talk at yahoo.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, make sure you leave them there. Who knows, you might find yourself as part of the show. Any feedback would be definitely appreciated. And also, make sure you hit the Linktree page that's on my Twitter. Make sure you click on that. You can find all the different ways to contact me there. Enjoy the show. What's up? This LP. Welcome back to another episode of Cincinnati Fan Talk. Hey, it was fun checking everybody out on Twitter, chat with everybody about all types of stuff. Bengals, Buckeyes, Bearcats, stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with sports. It was cool. Basically did that all weekend. If you want to go ahead and chat with me, you can catch me on Cincy_fan talk. That's Cincy_fan talk. We go ahead and chop it up about all types of funny stuff, all types of ignorant stuff. You can go ahead and catch me on there. Tonight we're going to go ahead and talk about, all the shade that the Bengals get hit with. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little bit of UC and X stuff. We also going to talk about the weird fight party I went to that my brother threw. So we're going to talk about that as well. But first we're going to slide into a little bit of Bengals chitter-chatter. So as always, the Bengals getting hit with the shade that the Bengals always get hit with. It's always the Bengals is the trash franchise. That's basically what we are. Apparently, the Bengals can't win games to save their life. The Bengals are dumpster fire. That's basically what we are. It's far from the truth. I mean, the Bengals got all types of talent. We've had a bad year and a half, but apparently we can't run a franchise. That's basically what it is. Forgetting that just like 3 or 4 years ago, it was all types of stuff being written about the Bengals saying that we've had great drafts and this is the place that you want to be at if you want to run a great franchise, and we've had great drafts and we've kept we basically kept all of our players here, like us and the Packers. Like when you look down our team, like 85 to 90% of the players are homegrown. Like that's what you were reading. But apparently it's a dumpster fire here. I mean, but you look in places in Cleveland and stuff like that, they're not dumpster fires apparently. But it's crazy. But once the season starts, then all these places are dumpster fires. But here, you don't really hear stuff like that. I mean, we not winning games. But if you notice, we losing games barely. We playing our hearts out. But you don't really hear that. I mean, all you hear are the losses. I mean, that's just how it go in Cincinnati. But if you watch closely, you'll see that, we playing our hand well. We keeping our cards close to the vest, which is smart. And Joe Burrow, he keeping his cards close to the vest too. And people watching, watch Joe Burrow. He playing it smart. Real smart young man here. He playing it smart because just because the Bengals got the first round draft, my fault. Just because the Bengals got the first pick in the draft, it doesn't necessarily mean they picking Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow know that. The Bengals can do whatever they want to do with the pick. They can trade the pick. They can pick somebody else. I mean, this time last year, Joe Burrow was not the consensus number one pick. Tua was. Everybody remember that. And Tua got hurt, but it's still some rumblings out there that Tua is still the number one pick. So, Joe is smart. Joe was like, I'm not the lock that everybody thinks that I am. So what Joe doesn't want to do is just be like, hey, I can't wait to be a Bengal, a couple months from now when I'm a Bengal, everything's going to be great. Because what if he's not a Bengal? A little bit of egg on his face if he's sitting there in the Miami Dolphins locker room. Everybody looking at him like, hey, bruh, thought you wanted to be a Bengal. Think about it like this. Pretend for a second that you 16, 17, 18 years old. You about to go to prom. You got somebody that you want to ask, and thinking that you smart or whatever. You got you like a backup or whatever. You ask the person that you want to take to prom. They say no for whatever reason. They don't want to take you. They got sick. You might have been their backup. I mean, whatever. But word got out that your backup knew that they were your backup. Word got out. You don't know how word got out, but word got out. So, now, you ask the backup. But the backup knows that they're the backup. Think that's going to work out for you? How you think this is going to play? Hey, want to go to prom with me? Even if they say, yeah, how you think that prom going to work out for you? Probably not so well. Probably get a whole lot of mean mugs and cold stares. That's kind of what it would be like for Joe Burrow if he's the number 5 pick in the draft. And he was saying all this stuff about him going to the Bengals because it's a first-class organization and he would really love to be a Bengal, and it was always his dream to be a Bengal, and he grew up about an hour and a half away from the Paul Brown Stadium, and he heard the roar of the crowd, and he loves the Bengals, and blah, blah, blah. Not the right move. Joe Burrow is playing it perfectly. He's just happy to be in a position to be the number one pick in the draft, and he just wants to play football, and he's just excited to play in the NFL, and he'll play wherever he gets picked. That is what you say. That's what you say. You will play wherever they pick you. That's what you say. You don't come out and tell people where you'll play. That's not smart. Who does that? I mean, I could think of a couple people in the NFL that would do that. I could think of 2 or 3 people. They're not going to last long. I mean, they're not. I'm pretty sure you can think of 2 or 3 people that would do that out there in podcast land. Those 2 or 3 people, they probably talk too much. They're probably quarterbacks or wide receivers or running backs on teams that you probably hate. Or they're probably quarterbacks or wide receivers or running backs on your favorite team. And you probably only like them because they're quarterbacks or wide receivers or running backs on your favorite team. And that's the only reason you like them. Just saying. So Joey B is doing the right thing. And by the way, dude funny as hell. Like, you got to give it to him. Dude funny as hell. Like, that thing with the small hands and like he considering retirement. Hey, he funny as hell. Like, hey, that was some funny shit. I had to retweet that when I saw that. That was funny. But don't worry about Joey. He wants to be here as a Bengal. The Bengals will probably draft him. And if they don't draft him, I'm sure they got a good reason for not drafting him. And if they do draft him, I'm sure they got a good reason for drafting him. But either way, I'm hoping that they do. We need a lot of excitement here. We're gonna need a quarterback because it's looking like Andy Dalton's not gonna be back. We're gonna need a QB. Joe Burrow's looking like the best thing to get here. So let's grab Joe. Let's get some people to block for Joe. That should be job number one. Let's get people to block for Joe. We have the pieces around him already. We have a solid running back. We have solid wide receivers. Let's get a defense. Let's get people to block for Joe. And we should be fine. We'll be okay. We'll be back in a quick second. We'll go ahead and, try to pay some bills. Let's get some listeners to try to pay some bills. We'll come back and we'll talk about how Xavier and UC are probably going to give us a heart attack in March. We'll be right back. This is Cincinnati Fan Talk. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Cincinnati Fan Talk. Do you realize UC has played 7 overtime games this year? 7. And this is not even discussing the games that they played where the margin has been like within 5 points. It's not even talking about that. If you got a pacemaker and you watch UC games, you're not going to make it through this season. Like, you're not going to live. Like, UC got a tendency to, like, I just don't know. Like, they just got this thing that they do where if they down, like, 7 or 8 points at any point in the game, like, both of those Cumberland boys, they'll find a way to, like, hit threes. And then Trayvon Scott, he just been, like, carrying them for stretches. It's weird because, like, UC, they've been finding players all year long to carry them for stretches. It's weird. Like, at some point, some player on their team has carried them for, like, some stretch of a game. It's been the weirdest thing. And it hasn't been Jaron Cumberland for, like, every game. And a lot of people thought it would be, but it hasn't been. I've said this before about UC, and I'll say it again. If UC makes the tournament and they don't lose the first game, they might just make the Elite Eight. They might could just do it. They're one of those teams where, like, you can't put them away. Like, if they make foul shots, that's their one Achilles heel. They cannot make foul shots to save their natural life. I don't know what it is. They're, like, allergic to them. They do everything else kind of sort of well. They hit threes. They play defense. They're solid from mid-range. Like, they do everything else well. Like, John Brannon is a very underrated coach. Like, he's done a really good job with players that, they aren't really his players. Like, he's done a really good job with his team in his first year. Other than the foul shooting, is the foul shooting has been atrocious. It's cost them a game or two. The game against Colgate, no way they should have lost that game. The foul shooting did them in. That game against UCF, no way they should have lost that game. The foul shooting did them in. That game against Bowling Green, no way they should have lost that game. The foul shooting did them in. Those are 3 games where they look back on them. No way they should have lost those 3 games. Foul shooting. I know they want those 3 games back. It's not how it works, though. So, can't really cry over that. But I feel like they can make that tournament. And if they make the tournament, that first game, I feel like the first game is going to be the hardest game for them. because you're playing against a team you're not used to playing in an environment you're not used to being in. You're gonna have the nerves. You got to get used to the referees, which is probably the easiest part because at least you're not dealing with them janky ass American referees. Because the American Conference referees, whoo, ugh, terrible. Capital T. Just that's that's another podcast. Just that's that's another subject. If they can make the tournament and get past that first game, even if it's a first four game, if they can get past that first game, I would definitely watch out for the Bearcats. I mean, matchups are key. If they can get that first matchup against a team that plays like kind of like a not like a really fast pace, kind of like a team that plays like a Tennessee, like a Houston pace or something like that. Not a terribly fast paced team, but like a kind of fast pace, something like that. What they don't want is like a super slow paced team, something like a Iowa or something like that. That's what they don't want. One of those grinded out teams. They don't play well against that pace. They don't like that. So that's what I will look out for. Xavier, on the other hand, they're going to give you a heart attack for a different reason. They're just wildly inconsistent. And it's what you didn't expect from Xavier this year. I thought they would be a lot more consistent under Travis Steele in this second year because you would have thought that with a second year under their belt in Travis Steele's system, with so many core players coming back, with their freshmen that they were having coming in, we would have thought we'd see a better product. So I'm a little concerned about what we're seeing. In the beginning of the season, I was on a podcast and I was saying I was more concerned about Xavier than I was UC simply because of the strength of their schedule. And I thought it would be their schedule that would be their undoing. I don't think it's really the schedule, more it is their play. I think it's their play more than their schedule because I feel like they can beat the teams on their schedule. I feel like they can beat a Marquette. I feel like they can beat a Creighton. I mean, I even feel like they can beat a Villanova. I just don't feel like they're playing well. Like, they're not shooting the ball well. And they're just turning the ball over too much. I mean, teams like Butler, I feel like they can beat these teams. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like if they don't turn the ball over as much and if they shoot the ball better, I feel like they can beat these teams. I just don't feel like Xavier is as bad as they're playing. I mean, I feel like that's just me personally, but I feel like they're better than this. So these last couple of games are going to be key because as they're currently playing, even if they make the tournament, I just don't see them as more of a. They're just not much of a threat right now. I mean, they really need to get on a run in these last three games if they want to be more of a threat in the Big East tournament and in the NCAA tournament. So we'll see how it goes, but it's kind of flip-flop for me because right now I'm seeing UC as more of a threat than I'm seeing more Xavier as a threat. And in the beginning of the season, that was flip-flop for me. In the beginning of the season, I saw Xavier as more of a threat than I saw UC as a threat. But we'll see how it goes because I see both teams as having a chance to do some damage. But right now, I just see UC is having more of a shot, but Xavier, not as much. I see Xavier is kind of more likely as being one and done. I think they can do some damage, but not as much. But we'll see. I think Quentin Gooden's going to be the key. He's going to be the key. I really wish he could get some more playing time. I think he can cut down on that turnovers. Um, he has to get some more confidence in his shot, but I think he needs to play more to get more confidence in his shot. It's hard to get confidence in your shot if you're not playing. And I think he's doing all of the right things while he's on the bench. Like, he's on the bench, he's hyping everybody up. His body language is excellent. And I'm seeing on Twitter when I'm kind of on there, letting tweets fly and everything. I'm seeing a lot of people, with the negativity towards Q, and I'm like, he's the one kind of like not turning the ball over. When he's on the court, there are a lot less turnovers. From what I'm seeing, when he's not on the court, I don't really see a ball handler. Like, nobody's there with the confidence to break presses. I mean, the ball pressure increases when he's not on the court, and the turnovers increase. So I really think even if he's not shooting the ball, he's a consistent and solid ball handler. So I think he needs to be on the court more so he can at least handle the ball and distribute. I mean, me personally, I would at least have him on the court so he can have 2 points and 6 assists and 0 turnovers. I mean, I will be good with that because you can have Marshall and Scruggs and Tandy and Fremantle. They can score. I mean, your point guard doesn't necessarily have to have points as long as he has assists and no turnovers and plays solid defense. I mean, that's just me personally. I mean, I would definitely have Q on the floor. I mean, your run has to start somewhere. But that's just me. So we'll be right back, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the fight. We'll be right back. This is Cincy Fan Talk. Yo, yo, yo. We back. Cincy Fan Talk, we back. We gonna do a couple of quick shots before we head out. So I'm at my brother's fight party, checking out the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight. It was a real cool scene being with the fam and everything, house divided, loud. We got half the house, rooting for Deontay Wilder, half the house rooting for Tyson Fury. Fury, we won't say pulled it out. Fury ran away with it. I had Deontay Wilder in 8, and that definitely didn't happen. But I will say that Fury not only deserved it, but he looked like a champion. Like, he looked the part. He definitely earned his crown. He did what he was supposed to do, and he looked like the man doing it. So anybody saying that it was rigged or anybody saying that, like, it was set up, definitely didn't see the fight. Like, I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. I'll also say that anybody saying that, like, Wilder should have got the chance to, like, go out on his shield or, like, go out like a champion, and that's some bullshit. Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, health is important no matter what sport you in. And if you was watching that fight, then you saw somebody that didn't even have power in any of his punches. Like, after round 4, this man's leg was absolutely noodles. Like, he was holding this man, Tyson Fury, like, as much as he possibly could. I mean, he was out on his feet. I mean, we was all in. No matter who you was rooting for, we was in there screaming for the fight to be done after round 5. We was like, why is this? Why was this still happening? I mean, people die in the ring, like, and it's happened recently, like as recently as a year and a half ago. Like, people have died after fights in the ring due to brain trauma. I mean, in football, you try to protect people's heads as much as possible. Why would you not try to protect people's heads in boxing? Is it because you think that it's implied that they go in there and that they know the risk? They know the risk in football. They know the risk in baseball. They wear helmets, right? So why would they not protect their heads in boxing? Like, it makes no sense. If somebody can no longer protect themselves, the fight needs to be over. Like, this man could no longer protect himself. The fight needs to be over. How could there be a rematch if the man can no longer protect himself to the point where he's concussed and he's brain dead? Like, the towel was thrown in, and it was a good towel throw. Like, leave it at that. Anybody saying something otherwise either doesn't know boxing or they don't care about the person that was boxing. And that's an absolute fact. So we're going to leave that at that. Unwritten rules in baseball are absolute bullshit. Like, why are there unwritten rules? Like, if it's a rule, it's a rule. Case in point, you got the unwritten rule that, so people are getting thrown at, like the Astros pitchers, like the Astros players are getting thrown at, and now you got like the commissioner protecting these guys. Meanwhile, they cheated in the sport. And we knew that they cheated, and we let them cheat, and they got to keep their trophy. So how about we do this? How about all these unwritten rules where you can't steal if you're up by like 5 or 6 runs in the 7th inning, even though we know that baseball is a sport where we're scoring runs like more and more and more. And you have the unwritten rule where if somebody gets hit by a pitch, you have to automatically hit the next batter with the pitch. How about we take all these unwritten rules and we either like make them written rules so everybody understands what the rules are, or we throw all these unwritten rules out the window and we make sure that everybody understands what the rules are. Like, period. Or let's do this. How about we do this? How about we just understand that the Astros cheated? And how about we understand that people are going to take retaliation because they cheated, right? People are going to go like, look, they cheated. And since they cheated, and since nothing was done about it, people are going to take their own retaliation for it. So, since they know they're going to take their own retaliation for it, here's what we're going to do. Don't let them retaliate. Say, instead of you retaliating for it, what we're going to do is we're going to do what we're supposed to do, and we're going to make it so that they can't compete in the postseason for the next 3 years. So that way, we're not endangering the Houston Astros. How about that? Because what the Astros are about to go through for the next season is not fair to the Houston Astros. Nobody should have to go through what the Houston Astros are about to go through. It's not fair to them. Nobody should have to worry about getting hurt on the field, no matter what they did. It's not fair to them. Nobody should condone this. Nobody. Also, nobody should cheat in the sport. So, let's fix both of those things at the same time. But I feel like I'm making too much sense. That's just me. So what you gonna do? One more quick take before we roll out. Kobe Bryant made a few mistakes in his life. We all did. It would be extremely hypocritical for anybody to sit up here and say that they didn't. Kobe Bryant did some amazing things in his life. Make sure you celebrate that today. Because I definitely will. 100%. Rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace, Gianna. Rest in peace to all the people that lost their lives in that plane. So, rest in peace. And that note, I'm going to go ahead and head out. So, I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side. I'm going to check you out later. And this is LP, Cincinnati Sports Talk. Catch you guys later. Peace out. If you're not ready for the conversation to end, I'm not either. Make sure to catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. Leave off the G at the end of it, and we can keep the conversation going. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button so you can catch the next episodes. The episodes will drop every Tuesday. If there's a change in that, I'll make sure to let you know. Appreciate the support. As always, life is good.